What is up? It's Dakota Layden here from Destination Fear, and you are listening to the Paranormal Zone.
A ghostly apparition in the dark of night.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So, Mike, I was looking at any number of ways as how to casually start this podcast conversation. I had several ideas, but then you totally threw me for a loop approximately 1 minute ago.
Really?
Because I want you to explain the word tartish.
Tartish?
Tartish.
Well, I am drinking my Crystal Light out of this sporty sipping bottle.
Very sporty. Very sporty.
It's a Brita. And anyway, I am drinking cherry limeade.
Cherry limeade.
Yes, and
apparently it's quite tart.
Tart-ish. Like tart. It's a tart flavor. You know,
Okay.
and it's not really tart. It's just kind of tartish.
Okay.
So that's
It was just frighteningly, I can't speak, frighteningly, it was really close to being a scary word. I'm just going to put it that way.
you know. And I didn't want you to think of that I was talking about any of your ex-girlfriends or anything. Or
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
oh, she's a wee bit of a tart.
Well,
She's
you
a little
know.
tartish.
We know that all of them are listening right now.
Yeah.
And they're...
So I'm sorry. I hey, I'm just trying to be funny. If I offend somebody, let me know. I'll change my way.
Well, I don't think you were trying to be funny before we started recording, but you literally just threw out the word tartish, and
That's right.
It gave me the heebie-jeebies. So I wanted to clarify what exactly that means.
Well, not that I want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but
but we could.
How did it affect you? I want the deep learning of how this freaked you out.
Well, you know how we were talking earlier about recovering from sickness. You know, both Bridget and I are finally in the clear. You know, and
the COVID, the both of you.
Oh man, and it was pretty nasty.
And you've never had a vaccination, and this is the first COVID you had, right?
No, I've had it before.
Okay. All right.
And I should say I'm not certain that is what it is, but putting two and two together and figuring everything out,
Exactly.
It is. But anyways, describing how I felt those first couple days about having the chills and the spine just tingly and sweaty and just unbelievably uncomfortable. That's how the word tartish made me feel.
Okay. Your spine was tingling?
A little bit.
Have you ever seen the movie The Tingler with Vincent
know.
Price?
You know what?
Yeah.
I
Pretty awesome.
I guarantee I have not seen it because that is
Yeah.
a title in and of itself that I would remember, and I know I've never seen it. So
It's like from the late 50s, I believe. And
isn't that isn't a tingler like an adult item you can find in a gas station?
sure. Yeah, they send them to you in a plain paper wrapped box or whatever. Very incognito.
Yeah, wasn't it? That's a French tingler, isn't that what it's called?
No, this. Hey.
I see what you're. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, this was a parasite that was attached to the spine, and yeah, it was nasty. You know.
God dang, man alive, man.
Actually, in the theater when it premiered, there was wires hooked up to all the seats. So when this tingler thing would come out, they'd hit a button and everybody'd get these electric shots.
Are you serious right now?
Seat. I'm serious. Yes, very serious.
Yeah, that reminds me of a scene in the classic comedy Waiting for Guffman, the awesome Christopher Guest movie ensemble with all of his friends. Anyways, he's talking about, he's a play director, and he's talking about some of his older plays that he was putting on, performing obviously. And one scene involved like there was a fire going on, a play fire, an acting fire, not an acting fire, a fake fire.
Made out of paper mache.
And his character's name is Corky, and Corky's great idea was to pump smoke in through the ventilation shaft into the theater to give everyone the idea of being, engulfed with smoke. And of course, everything went to hell. Fire department came and
caused a panic. Everybody was 80 dead at the door trying to get out.
Man. Do we have a podcast to cover here? I think that we're actually recording right now. God dang it. Well, it is good to see you, Mike. Introductions are in order in case you are new to the podcast. Believe it or not, we do get new listeners from occasion to occasion. I said new, not nude. But if you're nude right now, that's great.
Hey, I can't see you. That's fine.
Let us know if you listen to the podcast nude, because that's something maybe we could build on.
Yeah, or in your pajamas, or in your underwear, or in a cooking apron with nothing underneath.
Ooh, that's very specific.
Stuff like that.
Introductions are in order in case you are new to the program. This is the Paranormal Zone, your weekly dose of all things, hey, you guessed it, paranormal, strange, and mysterious. My name is Patrick Koffenberg, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host with the ghosts, the paranormal poster boy himself, and I wrote this introduction down so I wouldn't forget it. The man who will take over social media based solely on the amount of accounts he has to create, Mike Carbno. Mike, I noticed that you are in the process of maybe starting yet again new social media accounts. Now you're shaking your head. I'm not bringing this up to make you upset.
No, I'm not. No, absolutely not.
Okay,
no
good.
problem there.
Good.
I am sure that I can get on to most of them on the laptop, because I usually have on the phone, and I don't have my old phone anymore, which for reasons I don't want to go into.
No, that's fine. Totally fine. See, I threw you off. I can tell that now you're flustered. I apologize. But
where was I?
It is normally you could like throw out those warnings to listeners like beware of fake accounts. That is not really Mike Carbno. Well, that's not necessarily the case, because it really is, but they're just like a multitude. Like I'm losing count. There's like
I can't make another one. That's just too ridiculous. And I if I didn't have to be on Facebook, like I'm getting very tired of
it's
a lot of stuff.
It's a necessary evil when it comes to just posting stuff for the podcast and for artwork and all that stuff. But
I will get it situated, and I will begin to start joining in on any
we miss you, Mike. We miss
Twitter
you.
stuff.
You know what I also miss?
What's that?
Having fun on Twitter. It seems like it's been about a decade since when I joined Twitter forever ago, it seems, it was really fun. At least it seemed like it was fun for me. Interacting with people that you would normally, that was kind of the, I don't know how you want to say it, kind of the shtick, the thing, the appeal about it was, the interaction.
Very.
It was. I had a lot of fun, and back then, quite frankly, I didn't give a shit what I was saying, and I wasn't worried one iota about offending anybody. So maybe that's why it was more fun.
Yeah, probably.
But nowadays, I'm just like, I got a great thing to tweet. It's going to be funny, and then I'm like, oh shit, who's this gonna piss off? I better not say a damn thing. And so
exactly. And that's Facebook. You can get into some conversations on there that are.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it can get pretty heated. But you know what I miss?
What's that?
MySpace.
Hell yeah! I miss MySpace.
That was fun. You could put stuff on there. You get music. You can, video stuff. Oh, it's just design like crazy.
I know. You could actually, I remember it was so cool figuring out how to, design your own backgrounds, put your own background music on there. Oh, man. Yep. And you know what, Mike? That was super cool back in the day, because that's when, you and I first started...
Yep.
Interacting with some of the original cast members of Ghost Hunters way back in the day. And
that was it.
That was so fun. Oh, anyways. Now I feel like I'm going to cry.
Well,
Well,
then Facebook comes along.
I know. Whereas I cry, this is Mike's reaction to my sadness. Yeah, I know. That's all you do.
Is that really me?
Of course, it's you.
Oh yeah.
No. This is a lot better. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Okay, stop.
What? Well, quit pushing the button.
No, I like pushing buttons. I remembered to pull out the old soundboards. So
that's good. It's about time.
Christopher Walken, how does this sound so far?
Turd pile.
I thought so. Yeah, we better get started. We're 10 minutes in. We haven't mentioned a damn thing.
Yeah, what are we talking about today?
Well,
it's awesome. It's great. It's going to be fun.
It's not focused. If listeners couldn't tell.
It's so unfocused, I can't even see it.
It's one of those ideas where we are literally just going to riff off the top of our little noggins, and we're going to see where the conversation takes us. Sometimes these things turn out pretty darn well. I'm pretty happy with them afterwards.
Yeah, well, but at this point in the listening part of our listeners, are they still with us?
Yeah,
when you explain what the show is going to be.
That's a great question. When you're over 10 minutes in and we haven't even mentioned anything remotely close to the podcast topic, you're risking losing listeners. So,
yeah, and then they hit the button. They're gone.
They're gone. See you later. Nice knowing you. Hope you give us a shot again. No, Mike, you and I kind of came up with this idea of, you know what? Let's have a casual conversation. We're gonna just kind of let it go wherever it leads us. Hopefully we'll get into some deep thoughts, maybe perhaps without hurting our brains too much. But my
crystal light is infusing knowledge and energy into my mind.
Very, very good. Very, very good. You're going to need it.
Yeah.
The phrase / title "living with a ghost" popped into my brain. And I texted you that yesterday, and we kind of quickly bantered about what I meant by that, and you seem to like the idea, and that's basically where we're at. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Longtime listeners know dingy ding 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 ding. There it is. Well, I can barely hear it.
Boy, that sounded weak.
Yes, it was unbelievably weak. Ding that thing again. Ding your weak dingy. Oh, Mike.
What the hell is wrong with you?
There it is. There, I heard it a little bit.
All right. Okay, there we go.
People ask me that a lot. What the hell is wrong with you? Where was I? Oh, living with a ghost, Mike. Longtime listeners know that you have led a paranormal life.
Yes, I have.
Simply put. But I wanted to kind of take that a little bit further. We've talked about it, seemingly
countless
times, about your personal experiences, because it's always fascinating for me to talk
boring to all the listeners that have been around for a long time.
I certainly hope not. But the idea of kind of casually living with a ghost, like you would live with a roommate, but instead of being a physical person sitting right there across the living room from you and stuff, no, this is someone
it just pops in once in a while.
Of the spirit world, of the spirit realm. How we would go about our day-to-day business knowing that there was an intelligent life in your humble abode from that other dimension, and like I said, we could go any number of ways, but I think it's going to be kind of fun. I think it'll be pretty interesting.
Well, I got a question right off. I mean, we can think about this. Do they ask this spirit or ghost, if they're a roommate type situation, to chip in on the daily chores or the cooking and the cleaning,
the rent,
the laundry, the rent? Exactly. That's a valid thing. If it's like a roommate and you converse with it.
I
hate to say it, but
when I was in my high school and middle school band, you were rewarded practice hours. Well, let me rephrase that. If you hit a certain amount of practice hours, practicing your instruments, and it was made official, the instructor knew that you did this and he marked you down. You were
the conductor, you mean?
What'd I say?
You said constructor.
Oh, no, I said instructor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Carry on.
Oh, God damn it. Now you totally threw me off. Anyways,
I got you back, you bastard.
if you made your quota of practice hours, you were rewarded with band bucks. They were called band bucks. Okay. There's a point to me bringing this up. Ghosts paying rent, would they pay in ghost bucks? Oh God, that wasn't worth the build up.
That was a long lead in for that crap.
I am ashamed of myself. You know what? A ghost.
Don't you dare edit that out either.
Oh hell no!
I want people to see that how you can make mistakes. Anyway, go ahead.
There's a ghost or two listening right now, and I guarantee it. This is what that ghost is thinking.
What are you, a couple of nitwits?
I think so. I really, honestly think so. So, Mike, should we wrap it up?
No.
Okay.
We got a lot to talk about.
Chris Walken, what the hell? What should we talk about next?
I don't know.
Well, you are no help. Why do I keep inviting Christopher Walken here? All he does is say the same thing.
No.
He says we sound like turd piles, and he doesn't know anything.
Yeah. Well,
Anyways.
time to get a new character. You should find some. This is what we should ask the listeners. Who should we go for sound bites for the soundboard?
There you go.
What famous person would they like to hear?
Sure.
Doing this a little, I don't know, or whatever comes up that you can find.
Can I put one request out there? No political figures.
Oh, no political figures.
So, Mike, some of the notes I have written down here just to help us through this shamble, these shambles of podcast construction. Hello? There's Mike.
Yes.
I wrote down dimensions. Oh, wait, no, let me rephrase that. Breakthrough dimensions, and then I wrote / Mike's phone call. Let's get started with that. Do you remember? Of course you remember that. Well, I'm just going to call it what it is, what I think it is. That phantom phone call that you I'm doing air quotes, received in the kitchen at night. You're up, I think, making a sandwich or something, Connecting that to the idea of living with a ghost.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any way, shape, or form that you think that experience was a breakthrough from that other realm, that paranormal realm that's made its way into your existence? Whoa, what was that? That was interesting.
Was our phone.
Hey, speak of the devil, there the damn ghost is right there.
Yeah. Mary has turned it down.
It is turned on.
Is that one? Oh, she's on the podcast now. She is forever recorded on this episode, just so she knows that. Was that, in your idea, any way, shape, or form, like a breakthrough of something that is concurrently existing, but in a different... I repeat myself over and over. In a different realm, a different dimension.
Where you're getting.
Or is it more of a residual thing for you? Your thoughts on that. That was kind of a unique, bizarre experience, and how it related to the story connected to that. The woman who collapsed after receiving the tragic news on the other end of the line.
She collapsed and never recovered and died from a heart attack after receiving the news of her son dying.
God almighty.
On the phone, in that same kitchen that I was standing there in my underwear making some kind of a sandwich or something. I don't know.
The visual was unnecessary, but thanks.
Yeah. So, and that, it was quiet. It was so quiet. And then I heard that phone ringing. But it was faint, but it was there. I mean, it was there. Like,
so what do you think that was happening, literally happening? Whoa, geez, now you're getting warnings, weather warnings.
Yeah, well, we got some crappy weather. But anyway, go ahead.
Like I said, related to the topic at hand, the possibility of that happening at that moment, because as we've talked about several times on the podcast, the concept of time as a human construct
exactly
doesn't exist. There is really no other way of describing it. Was that happening at that moment? Long story short, was there like a, lack of a better term, ghost in that very kitchen at that moment that happened to break through into your physical realm where you noticed it actually happening?
Well, what I think, because of the faintness of it, but faint but clear, if that makes any sense. To me, it was a lot more than a residual thing. I think a residual you'd hear it more clear, possibly. It'd be more like the phone ringing. Yeah, and if it was residual, it could have been that at that time that happened, and it just keeps playing over.
Oh, like that.
But I don't.
That's that exact time of the morning, or in
Right.
or in the evening, whatever it was.
And I've never heard it since, and I've been out there, many times at night in my underwear having a cookie or something.
Again, the visual. I mean,
Well, yeah, but it's, I want to make it like TV.
okay, to
you
go
know,
even further here, since you insist on talking about being in your underwear,
Okay, go ahead.
can you at least describe your underwear? Are you a tighty whities guy, or
No,
are you
absolutely not.
the
Those-
comfy boxers, the boxer briefs?
jockey boxer briefs.
Hell
the tight
yeah,
ones,
that's the way
the
to go.
tight ones. If I wear briefs that are loose, forget it. Nope. I'm getting older and things get longer, so
I'm telling you right
hang
now.
more, hang more. So, I got to have them hugged. I'm
Secured, right? You have to feel confident in their
yes,
location.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
There is a position for everything.
Okay. Well,
But in my opinion, there is a veil there. There is maybe a portal. I think there's a portal in this house anyway, but that the veil was thinning and thinning and thinning, and I was
Like
there
my
at the
hairline.
time. Yeah, like mine too. And it, as it thinned and got thin enough to hear that phone come through, that's what I was hearing. That's what I believe I was hearing.
okay.
So
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like
But
that.
why?
that
But why would
possibility.
it? Why would it keep over? Playing over and over again. If it does, or if this was just a one-time deal breaking through, but
Right.
you know what I mean. But why would she on that other side
Yeah.
have to go through that again?
See, that's a
You know?
awful way of looking at it. But I mean, you have to look at it that way. You have to question that. If 'cause
Exactly,
that's a
yeah.
possibility, and it's terribly sad to think of it as being something
Right.
that she would have to go through over and over and over. So I don't know. I guess my kind of thought on that is hopefully to remove that possibility. That's something that she has to repeat. Again, going back to the idea of, there's no such thing as time. I think you two just happened in the infinite amount of times that we've gone through this, possibly.
Right.
I think you guys just crossed paths right at
In
that
a-
moment.
Yep. A time slip or something.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I want to do that.
Does that
let's
take a
go
little
with
bit of
that.
does that take kind of the ghostly magic out of it, if that was a possibility, or does that make it even more intriguing in your
I
opinion?
think it's more intriguing. It adds
Oh, it does.
a lot to it. I think so.
But in a way, you're kind of like, I see, you're negating the possibility of it being like being a spirit, or something that has passed on that is still there. Whereas now we're just talking more about crazy time travel type stuff almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which blows my mind anyways, but obviously.
Yeah. Now you're just putting a tornado in my brain and I'm trying to figure it out.
I'm sorry.
So
That's what I do. I do that quite well.
I've had a bad day and I'm still recovering.
Oh, God darn it. I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
All right. From now on, we'll take it easy on your mind. Okay.
Oh, no, that will be boring.
Mike, your favorite color. Go. Tell us all right now.
Red,
Oh.
maroon,
Okay. Very, very cool.
right off the top. Let's go.
Other questions I have written down here, Mike. Again, all of this.
What
spare.
is your favorite color?
What is your quest?
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Again, all of this is related to, we're begging our listeners who are still here. Thank you so much for sticking around. This is all related to the idea of the title, Living with a Ghost. Okay.
Right.
I hope it was kind of a catchy title. That's basically why, an eye catcher, I should say. Are there times, have there been times? This is kind of a two-parter.
Okay.
In your lifetime, Are there times, have there been times when you, first part of the question, are utterly all alone as opposed to the concept that we are constantly surrounded by the spirit world, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Or do you think that they're totally different things at all times, and would they just kind of come and go? In through the veil, out through the veil, right?
Yeah, of course I believe that. It's like if there's an intelligent spirit, why would they just want to hang around? I mean,
That's very true.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. In and out. I'm sure. I know there's got to be spirits that
but
do
again,
stick
if
around.
we're talking about all these, if we're talking about kind of the time travel concept, the idea of an infinite amount of dimensions, maybe they aren't hanging around with you. They're not doing it consciously. They're just doing their own thing.
Right.
And again, you just happen to pass by them constantly, 24 hours a day. I don't know. It's kind of a rough one to get your little noggin wrapped around. That's for sure. So it will seem seamless to our listeners, Mike, but the damn podcasting gods are messing with us again.
They do that.
Yeah, they do. Are they ghosts? Are they
No, they're demons.
Are they?
They're demon. Everything's a demon.
Okay, Zach Bagans. Are
All
they?
the demons running all through me.
Now you sound like preacher Zach. I don't know what the hell that was.
Oh no, that was my worst Beetlejuice imitation.
Oh shit, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, I knew you weren't going to get it.
Sometimes I wonder though if like the spirit world is listening to our pathetic minds work, and we're trying to
laughing their
laughing their invisible asses off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh, you poor saps. I mean, you have no clue, and you have listeners. That would be a great way to sell a podcast episode. Like we have a literal ghost as our guest this evening. Awesome. Trust us.
Yeah.
He's there. It's a he. I don't know why it would be a he, but it'd be pretty darn interesting. Wouldn't be able to prove it visually. They just have to take our word for it.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Oh, maybe we should try it. Podcast.
Nope.
Podcast idea? Okay.
Don't waste my time.
Don't waste my time. All right, getting back to the topic at hand.
Yes.
We'll try to improve. We'll try to clarify our muddled thoughts a little more effectively. Oh, yeah. I'm looking at my professional notes again. I wanted to get your organic reply, your organic thoughts. As to why the hell I keep having nightmares about ghosts, Mike. Now, okay, I am fascinated by the idea of ghosts. I believe in ghosts. I believe in life after death. I don't think they're all malevolent, or I don't think they're all benevolent. They're like humans. They're half and half. You know what I mean? Split them right down the middle. Some are shitty, some are nice. Talk about professional talk right there. And then I wonder why we don't have a Travel Channel show, right, Mike? I mean,
talk to the producers. You're in touch with them.
Oh, sure. Hello. We talk about ghosts. Give us a show.
I want a TV show. I want TV. I want to be on TV. All right, carry on. Let's get this going here.
But why do I keep having flipping nightmares, Mike? Just the other night, I yet again woke up, Bridget, because I was like wailing. And it's terrifying.
Crying, wailing?
No, not crying, but just like
wailing in fear.
Yes, that's exactly it.
All right.
And it was another ghostly visual in my dream. I was experiencing an encounter. And I don't remember it very well, but I do remember. You know what a whirling dervish is, Mike?
Yes, I love that. They're so fun to watch.
Well, not in my dream when it's like a ghost. It's like a ghost taking on
they spin, and it's like you're amazed because how do they do it? Anyway, go ahead.
That's what was happening with this spirit, the / ghost in my dream, and it was just terrifying me. And I don't remember any other details, and no one cares anyways. But I have so often, Mike, experienced these awful nightmares, and they're always ghostly, and I'm always interacting with them.
Well, all I can think of at this very moment from you telling me this dream is I want to change my name to Dervish.
Okay. Why? Why would you do that?
It's just such a neat thing. But anyway, so in your dream, do you see these phantom spirits or anything?
No, I don't see the physical manifestations of them.
Okay.
But this last one, I didn't see like any sort of. It wasn't taken on the resemblance of any particular, like person by any means. But
Mm-hmm.
I got the sensation that it was like violently spinning, right in front of me for whatever reason. And in past nightmares I've had, I never see any sort of entity, but I see the results of it being there. I'll see like an object moving. I'll be trying to open a door and get slammed shut from the other side. Some invisible force slams that door, and it's stuff like that. So I don't ever see anything, but I know it's there and I experience it and I feel it and I sense it, and it usually terrifies me.
But you don't see it.
No, I do not.
It's like, geez, there's a lot going on there. I mean, how many times has this happened? Or how long has it been going on?
It seems like it happens quite a bit. If I had to put a guess number on it, I would probably say at least once a month I have a really bad nightmare. At least, if not more.
And they all seem to be the same, like even if they're a little bit different. I mean, they're connected together.
Well, my reactions and my fear is always the same.
Right.
And like I said, so much so that I'm physically like I'm yelling in my dream, but so much so I'm so emotionally involved in this dream that my sleeping body is actually yelling in my sleep, and it wakes up Bridget.
Then you find Bridget's fist in your face.
That has happened a couple times. Yes, that has happened, and I've also woken up with her with a pillow over my head. She's sitting there.
Oh my God!
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, as long as you don't find her standing at the end of bed with a frickin' knife or something.
Hell, there's a chance for everything, right?
And a Captain Kirk mask on or something.
So,
That's horrifying.
Okay, moving on though. I mean,
yes, go ahead.
Is there anything to that, or am I so fascinated with the idea of the paranormal that it just sneaks into my brain every now and then?
Well, okay, you do have this very specific and huge fascination and connection to the paranormal. This fear, could it be that this fear is something that's manifesting from deep inside of you, how you actually feel? Your fear is keeping you from acknowledging that there are really spirits. I mean, that they're here, you believe in them, but there's some fear about an actual
confirmation,
contact or manifestation, or like if you went through what I did, seeing the little girl going through the living room, how would you have dealt with that? Would that have scared the shit out of you?
It's impossible. It's impossible to answer. I would like to think that I wouldn't have been scared shitless. It's just I've thought about it, and in all honesty, I think I'll be quite frank here. You can still be Mike. I'll be Frank. I think it comes down to an uncertainty / fear of death, simply for me. I totally do not. I speak good English. I do not believe that I would flip out in fear like that. Like if you and I saw something at the Sally house, I think I would have been mesmerized. I wouldn't have sat there and shit my pants and ran down the down the road,
leaving a trail all the way.
Exactly. Again, it's impossible to answer. But I honestly don't think I would do that. But I'm thinking that perhaps these dreams just comes down to a fear of death. And I'll be honest about it. I am 2 years older than my dad was when he passed away, and that's something that I don't take lightly. It's life is a fragile thing, man, and maybe that has something to do with it. I really don't know.
Well, I always thought that about my grandfather. He passed away like at 48, my Canadian grandfather that I was never able to meet. And I don't know, where was I going with that?
Well, you felt the same kind of about, or it trips you out thinking that you made it older. You became older than
Oh,
your
exactly.
grandpa.
Yeah. It's it's not something that I dwelled on or anything.
No, I got you.
But that thought was there, and now I'm 60 and going through some extremely frightening things.
Shit.
For Mary and I.
Talk about the unknown too, man.
And but there's no fear of death. I mean, it's like the thought of, well, is that going to happen to me? Which is a totally idiotic thing to do. You're two different people. I'm sure you're related, but what caused him to have his cancer? Was it genetic, or was it something other than that?
Shit.
You're in great health.
As far as I know, yes.
You can, if a doctor asked you, well, do you feel like you're in good health? And what would your answer be?
I'd say yes.
Okay. I would say, fuck you. But anyway, I'm getting tired of doctors. I love my doctors, but damn.
You'd say, is that a trick question, asshole? That's what you would say.
Yeah.
And then you'd hit him with your cane.
Sorry about the F-bomb, but
that's okay.
But anyway, yeah, there's nothing to fear.
Yeah, we kind of went off on a tangent. Like, it's all about the paranormal, so it's all related in a sense.
Right.
Sense here. But as far as getting back to the topic at hand, again, Mike, let's get focused here, right? As focused as we can be. Let's say you knew that your house was occupied by a spirit. I mean, we're talking different specifics, as opposed to, like, in hindsight, when you experience something and then you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, that was something kind of odd and that was something kind of weird. I mean, you don't expect anything to happen; it just does, and you react to it.
Mm-hmm. That's a blind reaction to something happening because you don't expect it.
So let's look at it from the different perspective, where that there is there's this a pretty darn cool casual spirit sitting there right now watching television with Mary.
Right.
How in the hell do you think you would go about? I know it sounds wacky and weird and stuff, but if that was a reality, what would you do, Mike, on a daily basis to learn? What do you think you would do? Would you sit there and casually just throw out questions? Would you be so aware of this spirit that you would act differently? You wouldn't be yourself. You wouldn't walk around in your tighty whities, even though you don't wear tighty whities. You know what I mean? Totally different existence, totally different awareness. Is it something that you think you would enjoy? Is it something that you would? Well, go ahead and answer that question right now. Would that be something that you would find just unbelievably enjoyable?
Well, I tell you, I enjoyed it when I lived in Park Rapids at that house. I did. I really did enjoy it. I mean, there's no communication with any spirit or anything per se, but if I knew there is,
why is that, Mike? We're going all over the place, but that's what we're good at. Why is it you say there's no communication per se? Again, why is that? Why is it so difficult to just have simple interaction and conversation? It's always these little subtle signs that we have to sit there and figure out and interpret.
Yeah. It's because that's all the energy that they have to do what they do.
Right. Yeah.
Or it's us taking a lot of things into our head that we have a great enjoyment and pleasure and passion for, which is the paranormal. Now, our
yes.
Jeez, our minds so filled with thoughts of the paranormal because we think about it a lot. I mean, we do. Is that making things when we go to a different place, or we get recordings that we have to really, pick and choose and really dig through it, like you were saying. Mm-hmm. Is it just stuff that we in our minds are putting together? Like, oh yeah, that was a woman and she said something,
Yeah.
And that's going from the point of believing and trying to rationalize. I mean, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're saying. That's a good way of putting it, of believing it and then rationalizing what you believe to have experienced. Yeah, I mean, again, we're on such total different levels of communication. I get that theory, that it takes quite a great amount of energy for them to even let you know that they're there in the most subtle of manners, let alone sitting there having just a casual conversation. I mean,
right.
I'm throwing out these questions. They're kind of hypotheticals. We have our own beliefs, our own thoughts, our own opinions already. We're just, for the sake of a good conversation, we're throwing them out there.
Right.
We're not necessarily, Mike and I don't necessarily think that it is just a matter of casual conversations as being a possibility. Like, how was your ghost today? Oh, he was fine. He was a little cranky. It was bad weather.
Well, he shit on my couch, and I didn't really care for that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how he managed that, but it's like, my gosh, buddy, respect.
What do you eat? What do you eat? But anyway,
what do you eat in the other world?
Fluffy clouds
full of shite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, there's different types of communication. Like, for example, when I lived in that very haunted house in Park Rapids, we would experience loud banging, or knocking, and always in threes, which always fascinates me because I have such a passion and something for about the number 3. I mean, it means a lot to me spiritually and a lot of things. So these knocks, if that, possibly that was a kind of communication that was coming from them, and the energy that they had at the time to do this, sometimes it was just and sometimes it was,
shit.
It was, boy, I hurt myself.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself. My goodness.
But anyway, yeah,
Mike,
that's my only good hand, and it's not good at all. Anyway, go ahead.
Mike is willing to sacrifice his one working limb for the enjoyment of our listeners.
No, I'm not. It just happened. Hang on a second. God dang it.
God damn it,
right.
Mike.
I'm fine.
Yep. Just to describe the visual, Mike's wrist bone is actually protruding from his skin right now.
Yeah. I have a compound fracture to the left my face or something like that. I don't know.
So I mean,
but it hurts. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I don't. I don't mean to be flippant, but for the sake of this conversation, I will be kind of. The idea of the knocks. I'm not saying it's not legit, Mike. I'm not saying you didn't experience it, because I totally believe you, and I totally believe that
I wasn't the only one that heard them
as a form of communication. I totally believe that. But if we also look at it from the perspective of ghosts were humans too. It's like, how frustrating is it for those ghosts on the other end when they theoretically maintain their consciousness, maintain their intelligence, and the only way they can sit there and communicate is like they're an ape of some sort, and
exactly.
they're pounding on the walls like, I'm over here, damn it. You know what I mean? Yeah. That has to be maddening.
Well, and then, when they're trying to communicate and they can't get that message across, or they can't get through to somebody, maybe when their energy is built up, they're like, okay, this time I can actually put some fingernail marks on this person, and they're going to know that I'm here.
Damn, right.
Or you're going to see a shadow person, and that's me in the corner. It's
man. Did I mention? I think I mentioned this on the air a few weeks ago, but maybe I didn't. But talk about interaction that is kind of unnecessary. It's like, can't you let us know in kinder ways, maybe a little more subtle ways, as opposed to scratching us? But I told you about my brother's wife,
right.
Joe, she experienced yet again more hauntings at the allegedly haunted Babbitt school that they both work at. This one's I
think it's more than allegedly at this point.
This one's so much so that she got scratched Joe sent
Yeah.
me a picture. She has
You sent it to me. It's
the classic 3 or 4 scratch marks
Yeah.
pulled all the way down on her back, right
Yeah.
by her shoulder blade. I mean, what the hell? That it's like, okay, A, I don't like it. I'm thinking this is what Jennifer may be saying. I don't like this. B, I didn't ask for this. 3, can't you just like smell bad or something and let me know in nicer, more subtle ways? What is this for? What's going on in your idea there, Mike? I mean, they're interacting with something. They essentially are living with ghosts, perhaps, at this haunted school because they work there every day.
Right.
I mean, is that an angry, flustered, frustrated spirit that's like, hey, you guys are ignoring me so much so that I am going to,
possibly.
I need to do this in order to get your attention? Or is it just an asshole spirit? Is it malevolent?
Or was it a demon?
What do you think?
Sorry.
What do you think, Zach?
It could very well be a part of communication, but it could also be, like you said, that, just something that's vengeful and just a jerk. And,
have you ever experienced something like that personally, Mike? Have you ever experienced something?
Or anything?
Yeah.
No, I've never been touched or anything. I would love to be. I don't want to be scratched, but a gentle hand on the shoulder, maybe, or the smell of a strong smell of lemon verbena would be nice.
That's really interesting. Why that? Just because?
I don't know. I've seen it on Little House on the Prairie a couple of times.
Oh, Little House.
Watch it all the time. It's a great show.
I do too. I love Little House on the Prairie. Pa is my favorite character of all time. The most sensitive frontiersman ever.
Yep. And then cry Pa. He always does.
Yes.
And when he's going to. Highway to Heaven. When he's gonna cry on there, which is another show I love and I watch.
Both the late great Michael Landon and Victor French.
I was so excited to see that Michael Landon brought Victor French with him to the other
Highway to Heaven
show.
Yeah,
just fantastic. They're such good friends in Little House that it just had to carry on. Anyway, let's go.
Gosh, one of these times this episode, that's about the 4th or 5th time you've said "carry on." I've been so tempted to sing.
I know. Maybe that's why I keep saying it.
Maybe.
Goading you.
I'm looking at my professional notes, Mike. And they are.
That will get us nowhere.
They're quite professional. What do you mean by that?
Oh no, we're doing great.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Now, are there? Well, I guess we kind of talked about that. I said, my notes here. I say always with spirit. Times that we are certain we are alone, or surrounded constantly. I know we kind of talked about that earlier today, Mike. So I'll answer that first. I definitely don't. This is just me. And we've talked to several guests, particularly we've had some psychics on our show who have talked about how we were kind of like we are the physical roaming around among the spiritual. They are always there. Always there. It's just a matter of seeing the signs or being able to interact or, what have you. I don't really know about that. It's really hard for me, for my simple noggin to grasp that concept. I like the concept, but then you go to the silly questions. My mind goes to the silly questions. It's like, well, good God Almighty, is like a spirit watching me take a dump then? Am I can I not take a shower in private? Are they always around us? So I get that. I get that cynical point of view. I understand that to an extent. Kind of, walk me off the edge here, Mike, when it comes to constantly being among the spirits, Are we, to an extent, constantly among the spirits, or are we quite often literally alone by our physical selves?
I don't think we're really ever alone. I think there are spirits everywhere, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be standing in the corner of your living room waiting for something fun to happen or something weird or somebody to come through in their underwear.
They would be, like you said, they would be really, really bored. really
Yeah.
bored.
They've got other people they can go visit. I mean,
And you keep bringing up you and your underwear. There's
I
something
know
about that.
It's starting to disturb me a little bit. I'm going to refrain. But yeah,
Mike, maybe we should consider maybe we can create some Paranormal Zone boxer briefs. For men and women,
have our faces all over them with our headphones on in front of our mics,
strategically placed on said boxer briefs. Anyways, okay, that's gross.
Anyway, I hold my Yeti in my lap,
among other things.
Anyway, but I was going to get put out this point earlier that like if you go to the mall and you're just like on a Saturday afternoon, especially West Acres and Fargo. I mean, I won't go there. There's too many people. And if you're trying to work your way through this crowd of people, how many of them that you see might be a ghost, might be a specter that is.
I love that idea.
That is, you're seeing them as a human being, just like you're standing there, and that does happen. I mean, you got some teenage girls that passed away or something, and boy, they love that mall, and their energy and love for that mall, just bang, there they are.
Not to be morbid and stuff, but because that this sadly has happened countless times, like a group of young girls get together, or young boys, or both, and they plan on meeting up on a Saturday afternoon at the mall, and they're all going to go out later on, and they're all just so happy and energetic at that time, and then they tragically like die in a car wreck, leaving the mall later on, and so like that last happy energy of their physical existence is in that location, that mall. For this example, right?
Right.
I hate looking at it in such a morbid, sad way.
But
like
it puts
that.
perspective on it. I mean, it can be anything. It could be somebody. Yeah, but using that perspective works because of that energy that's built up of that, excitement and everything. So that makes sense. But I just still think that they're all around, but we don't have to worry about anybody watching us take a dump or something. I really don't.
Well, and again, how sick of a ghost would you be to just insist on watching people in their most private moments?
Well, there are people in this world that are alive that you couldn't imagine how sick they are.
Know.
Well, we've done episodes plenty that tell us that, but
which lends strength to the idea of sick, perverted ghosts doing that, because again, if they're an asshole in real life, well, chances are they're going to be a prick in the afterlife, and maybe they're going to attempt to get off on what they got off on their physical existence.
Or a big joker, somebody that loves to joke and laugh, coming across with that energy. Like I know, I didn't realize this until my brother actually brought this up, that I've mentioned on the show before, and we talked about where I was standing here and something thumped me on the head. And I thought, what the heck, and Steve, my brother, said, well, that was probably Dad. You know how he always joked around with, I'm going to thump you.
That's right. I remember you saying that.
I could just imagine. And I felt that after my brother said that. It was like, there's my dad thumping me on the head. That's communication, trying to tell me that he's there.
Yeah.
And it was something that was meant for Steve and I, because he was the one that was able to interpret what happened. Mm-hmm. And it actually happened to me. I mean, it was an amazing thing. Simple, but it meant a lot.
What do you think about this idea, Mike? Again, this is a theory from another psychic medium. I don't recall the man's name off the top of my head, but he was adamant about the idea.
The great James Randi.
Definitely not James Randi. No. I know that disappoints you. That disappoints you thoroughly. But he was adamant about the idea. He says he gets several questions, like when family members die and their loved ones inquire, like, how are they? What are they doing? Are they okay? And he insists on like, well, your dad, he loved, what did he love to do? And they'd say something like, he loved riding motorcycles. That was his favorite thing. He loved to ride. And he says that's what he's doing right now. And he says, then his theory, his belief is that they are in this other existence, this other realm, doing just what they did in this physical existence.
Only all the fun stuff, all the enjoyment and the happy and the passion for things. It's all there for you. I mean, you don't even have to, well, I don't know if I can afford that bike, or it's just there for you. I mean, that's heaven.
And so,
that's a possibility.
And we're not talking about like, their physical body is on top of a physical motorcycle driving down a physical highway. We're not necessarily saying that, because
we're talking totally different dimension.
Yes, that opens up a whole other ball of wax, a whole other can of worms, however the hell you want to describe it.
A whole bag of lizards.
That's weird. That's a weird one.
That's why I said it.
Okay. Mike, let's take a time traveling excursion. I have a couple things I want to wrap up here. We're getting the exactly. I love that was a great visual.
And to lift my bifocals up
I know.
so I can see what
Wish everyone could see that.
Okay, we got 9 minutes and 23 seconds left.
So, Mike, let's take a quick time traveling excursion. Let's come back. Let's wrap up. I think this conversation has gone pretty well. Kind of a head scratcher
pretty
for
well.
sure. Hopefully our listeners have enjoyed this.
And when we come back, I want to talk just briefly about another form of communication that has happened to a lot of people. It's happened to me, and it's fantastic.
Oh gosh, I can't wait. You'll remember it.
And, it's something that people realize they know. But it's
And you're not going to forget while you're time traveling.
I don't know.
Igor, should we trust Mike and his memory?
No.
Oh.
No.
All right. He said it. All right, hold on, boys and girls. We shall be right back. And we have returned from yet another successful time traveling excursion. Now, Mike, do you remember what you were going to share with our audience?
Well, it was just a thought about communication from
his thought was so powerful that
almost everybody, if they thought about it.
I was saying your thought was so powerful that you froze up, so you'll have to repeat yourself there.
Well, I was saying that this is something that probably so many people have experienced and probably not even realized it, but I've experienced it where, you find pennies or a feather falls from nowhere in front of you and lands in front of you, which I've had happen. Very, very cool. Things that are left that it automatically makes you think of that person. So that's just that little simple little communication that a lot of people know that
a song comes on the radio that
exactly
constantly brings up a particular person. That happens to me. I've said this several times, Mike. My former bandmate,
right. Mm-hmm.
Again, forgive me for repeating myself, but there's always a certain song that comes on, either on like my iPhone or, I honestly don't know if it's happened randomly on the radio. I doubt it. I think it's usually on my very long iPhone playlist. Like it's on shuffle, and it will just randomly pop on that song.
See, that makes sense to me.
Like immediately, and
right.
it's and my thought immediately goes to Damien, because it just, that song, that vibe always reminds me of him, and the mood, And I've mentioned this also before, Mike. This happened to me just the other day. It might sound corny. The sense of smell a lot of times really sets off a feeling that's like a trigger of memories as well, and kind of puts me, almost transports me to another time and another feeling. It's like I'm trying to put my finger on it. I'm like, what is it about this? It's bringing me, it's like a form of time traveling just by that sense of smell, the weather,
I've had that happen to me, such a strong sense of smell, and it brought me right back to a little bar in the Philippines in the bathroom, and it was not nice. Right back. I was there.
I was waiting for a nice, like a profound, moving example of a story. But no, I'm assuming they're probably gentlemen passed out in the bathroom and swimming.
Oh, well, poop on the floor.
Poop on the floor.
I'm peeing at a urinal, and there's an old lady on the other side of this short wall that you can see over, and she's there to clean the place. But you got to give her a tip. But if she, let me wash your hands, let me dry your hands. Would you like a cologne? Ugh, terrible. I was brought right back to there. Now
I'm so sorry. Stop hitting your desk.
Anyway, carry on.
My
way. We're so.
All right.
Yeah, see, you messed up the dog.
I know. Your dogs heard me. That is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Heard my whiny, screechy
It's her
voice.
job.
When I was
anyway.
when I was time traveling, Mike, when we were both time traveling, I came across this article here. I'm not going to bore everybody with it. I'm not going to read. Don't worry. But it's an interesting article from the New York Times, and this was published in 2021, I believe. But the title of the article is "How to Live with a Ghost." It's kind of interesting, and it goes on and on about it shares some examples, some people who claim to live with ghosts and how they what they do on a day-to-day basis. But then, of course, there's portions of it that frustrate me because it comes across in such that classic condescending. It spends like the entire article talking about this possibility and talking about the fascination or the fascinating prospect that it's real, but then at the very end they throw in like I said, the condescending, arrogant, almost mocking tone about why these people are all wrong, what they truly are experiencing, and it's all based on this increase in belief in the paranormal is all based on a godless society because people do not believe in the Lord anymore as in the amounts that they used to.
Right, you're pushing the line there now.
It drives me bananas, though. It's just first and foremost, you can't get more paranormal in the idea of God in the first place. We're talking about biblical God, for gosh sakes.
Yeah, that's pure paranormal.
So the using that as an argument is asinine to me.
Sure,
it doesn't make any sense at all. And of course,
right.
this was written post-pandemic, so they're saying it's all about the fear of death and people who came, the tragedy that we all went through with the pandemic. Now people are searching for answers, they're searching for comfort because of this fear of death. So therefore, they're going to believe in this wacky, wild, stupid paranormal stuff and yada yada yada. Any number of examples, and it's kind of whatever. Sorry, I want
to. The Bible is so full of paranormal. I better not push it this far.
Don't.
Never mind.
Don't. Yes, look the other way, everybody. Nothing to see here. Yeah. Nothing at all.
The man is all right. He'll get up.
Mike, we would be remiss if we did not say we have something in store within the next couple of weeks. Something pretty cool.
Yes, we do.
Something pretty
cool.
We
have a date
planned. Friday the 13th is special in a number of ways. Well, unique in a number of ways for sure.
Friday the 13th. In October, even.
And we are adding our own little Friday the 13th to our memory banks because, Mike, tell our listeners what we have planned.
We go to TAGUS. Steve and I and Patrick are going to go to TAGUS.
Now, what is TAGUS, in case listeners are not aware? We did do an episode on TAGUS about a month or so ago, maybe a little bit longer, but please inform our listeners.
TAGUS is a mostly deserted town, just a very small handful of people. It's classified as a ghost town, and it's spooky. It's haunted. There might be demons.
Allegedly haunted.
Yes, and allegedly the doorway to hell.
That
in
would be
TAGUS, North Dakota. You gotta go to hell. Well, first you gotta go to TAGUS, North Dakota.
If you got closer and closer to a supposed doorway to hell, would you be getting warm?
Yeah, good question. I have no idea. I'm not even going to answer that.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask that question.
Well, the weather is changing, It could help a little bit.
It'd be great. It would be great if we got to that flipping doorway to hell, and we opened the damn doorway to hell, and the first voice we hear is,
God damn it.
oh, Mike, you spoke over it.
Sorry.
And we open that doorway to hell, and the first voice we hear,
God damn it.
yep, we discovered you, Chris. God damn it is right.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll edit that a little bit to make it funnier.
But yeah.
Or actually, you know what? And then we we turn around every damn corner. And you know that since time doesn't exist, he is everywhere and at all times, at every place. Mr. Christopher Walken. You turn around every damn corner.
Okay.
You peek around the corner. There he is. So it's like catching him in his most private moments. Okay, Mike, you can at least pretend to laugh every now and then.
I do, but I internalize a lot. So
Fine. I'm not going to bother editing that. That's not worth the effort. So, but yeah, TAGUS is an interesting location. That's for sure. It's a ghost town in a number of ways. Ghost town where, what did your brother say? There's maybe 3 residents.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, him and his wife Lori went out, took a drive out there. It's like 20 miles west of Minot where they live, and took some great pictures. Checked everything out, kind of researched it as much as I could, and yeah, there's not a lot there.
And then a ghost town in the other sense, where it is again allegedly haunted. If you're
Very
interested,
haunted.
if you're interested and you didn't have a chance to listen to it, that was a great episode we did, 4 or 5 weeks ago, whatever. We dove deep into the idea of the haunted town of TAGUS, and damn, if some of that stuff is true, we got our hands are full, perhaps, Mike, when we're checking out this place. We're looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. It's going to be fun.
We are going to be fully equipped, fully charged, and ready to go.
Hell yeah! Looking forward to it.
And it's an overnight thing too, because we're actually going to be staying at my brother Steve's house. We will hostel there.
Ooh, hostel there.
After our excursion into the unknown.
I hope your brother doesn't become hostile if we
that's hostile.
Hostile there. You can pronounce it both ways. Come on, work with me here, Mr. Sippy Cup.
Depends on where you're from.
Sorry,
Yes,
it looks like you're
I have
drinking out of a
cup.
sippy cup.
It is. It's a sports bottle
I guess so.
with Crystal Light.
Mike, final thoughts on the idea, the notion of living with a ghost. Last question.
Okay.
With your final thoughts. Maybe you can connect them both. Because I'm not sure if we truly answered that. The idea of what you would do if you knew there was an intelligent spirit hanging out. I think I said like sitting right behind you watching TV with Mary. Would you would it become routine and almost mundane to you, Mike, or do you think you would always have a fascinating or feel fascinated by that concept?
I would have to be fascinated. I mean, I would become more comfortable with it.
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah.
I did with Debbie, and so much to the point, or Debbie or whoever else was in that house.
Right.
It came so much to the point of when I moved out.
Oh, Mike's having a conniption fit. Nope, now he's back. Nope, he's still having a conniption fit, but he's fine. He's okay.
A wee bit of a coughing spell there. But anyway, the last time I was going out the door, after everything was done, everything was gone out of the house was clean. This was the last time shutting the door and turning the keys in. I said, Debbie, if you are here, you are welcome to come along to the next place that I'm living. She was invited.
Yes.
But she never did come.
Well, again, that's a whole nother... there's a lot of reasons, a lot of heavy reasons behind why that may not have happened.
Exactly.
That's a tragic story.
It might not be allowed. It might not have been able to happen at that moment or that time.
That house could be her safe haven.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
Talk about, again, the last refuge of happiness that this poor girl had.
Yeah. Was right there playing.
Yes.
And, when she was killed, was she brought into the house?
Yeah.
Or
We don't know that.
Well, the hospital was right across the street, so they may have just brought her right to the emergency room.
Exactly.
But yeah,
here's
a lot of thought there.
I hate to throw these deep questions on you, Mike, when we're wrapping up the show, but I'm going to do it. The idea of this poor 2-year-old, not even 3-year-old girl who loses her life, with this garage door falling on her, crushing her. And we believe that we have audio evidence of her still lingering in that house. The It's Debbie EVP is, in our minds, indisputable.
But, the thing that I think of, and we've mentioned before about that EVP is, it was somebody saying it's Debbie.
Right.
But it wasn't Debbie.
No.
It was another,
Again, that goes to the idea of, you believe that there was a portal in that house. I mean, there's several.
Oh, and the way the ghost was seen, like the washing machine and dryer were right across from the bathroom door, down this long hallway, through the kitchen, through living room, everything. And that man was seen walking into the bathroom from where the washer and dryer were. And he was wearing a hat. He had like a normal kind of a flannel shirt on, I guess. And what was he? Just somebody whipping through there? Was there a portal there in the toilet? I have no idea.
God damn. Toilet portals. That's a podcast name right there. But Mike, okay, what I was getting to was, is this girl forever 3 in her spiritual existence? I mean, what pops into your brain when I throw out that simple question?
I think they can be whatever they're happiest at, whatever.
Okay.
Can they grow and mature into adulthood as a spirit? Mm-hmm. I don't think so, but I think they can be at their happiest moment in life. That
happy essence of Debbie is what is in that house.
Yeah, I'd like to think that. But, with all the investigations of different haunted houses, that I don't think that's always
definitely not the case for all.
The case, yeah.
No. Well, Mike, this has been pretty darn fun. I think we were able to throw together a ramshackle episode. Hopefully our listeners have enjoyed it. Hopefully, maybe we got their thinking caps on a little bit. Maybe we've sparked a little bit of thought.
Maybe we put our dunce caps on. A big pointy head in a big pointy hat. Oh, and I don't even drink anymore. Jeez,
you know what? That is going to be, Mike, that's a visual for our next YouTube episode. Both of us need to wear dunce caps for our next YouTube episode. Does that sound okay?
Yeah. We got to do it. Yeah, absolutely. We got to do a YouTube soon too, as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I did post like a 5-minute clip of our paranormal excursion to Bonanzaville. A pretty interesting clip there. We did a spirit box session. We got some interesting replies. Like I said, it's about 5 minutes long. It's on the YouTube page now. As I mentioned before, I'm very, very picky about what I want on the YouTube page. And I think this one was fine. I hope you guys will enjoy it. When I say it's fine, it's probably really fine, if that makes sense, because Mike shakes his head when I say stuff like, I'm so picky, I don't want to put it in. There's probably really nothing wrong with it, but I'm just so self-conscious of myself. Yeah. Self-conscious of myself. That made a lot of sense. That was redundant.
No, that makes sense. And you're sensitive. You're very sensitive. You cry at the drop of a pin.
And I scream about ghosts and
in the night.
In the nights and wake
up. But what you didn't know. Never mind, I don't have anything.
Oh, fart. Yeah, that's right. My God, another idea that we've totally forgotten about.
I know.
Goodness gracious. Can you think of something off the top of your head? What you didn't know about everything we talked about? And to wrap up the show, everybody, Mike with his final thoughts of what we didn't know.
I don't know.
And that's Mike's What You Didn't Know. segments.
I have nothing.
That's fine. That's fine. You know why? Because Christopher Walken,
I got feeling for
he
you.
still likes you, Mike. So
Yeah, well.
no worries. No worries.
That's good.
Yes. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks for making this work, Mike. I appreciate it. This has been fun. Looking forward to the next one, man, and looking forward to making that trip to TAGUS. It'll be a blast.
Yeah, we got to do. If we got to do this, we can't miss it because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do these
Would
trips.
you shush? Just shush. All right. On that
The
morbid
list has
note,
got to be coming too.
on that terrible visual, on that morbid note, Mike, what do our awesome friends of the podcast need to do?
Peace out.